intro or the... There we go.
Because it's perfect enough because like I love the format of the shows because you don't have to like actively listen to like if something pops up I take care of it but it's not like oh fuck
No,
like
you can pick up on spaces.
Well, that's because nothing
Right.
we say is actually of anything of real importance or anything like that.
Exactly.
That's the secret.
And anyway, we are live, everybody.
Hey.
Hello.
Yeah.
That's how it happens. Hey.
Yeah, this happens a lot.
Yeah.
So, hello! We are Pints and Pistons!
And also license and registration.
So last episode we had a bonus mic, and this episode we also have,
Have
a
another bonus
Yeah.
mic.
well we have a club so you can just kind of pull from it anytime you
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
Well, we don't want to get too many of you together, though.
No,
'Cause
well, no, and
that-
that-
no, black hole, time warp
Well,
shit,
no,
we ain't about
that's
that.
why
Like, that's
that's
scary.
why with our mics we always have the different names. Like we have you got
There's
small mic,
tall
you
mic.
got tall mic. Well, yeah, then there was tall
Tall
mic,
mic,
then
Mike
there was
Bonadana,
Mike
Dana, Dana,
Bonadana.
But I
then
think
there- then there was
he's
Scott-
tall Mike, too, though.
Well, no,
Like,
no, tall Mike was taller than him.
oh,
And
oh,
but also
gargantuan
OG,
Mike.
but also OG tall Mike, and
Yes.
then
Wait, hold on. Wait. So, you just said tall Mike, then OG, so is
Well-
that excluding him?
well,
Is there multiple
yeah,
tall Mikes already?
because like
Multiverse.
I
Okay,
met him
well-
when him when I was 13 years old, and he was tall Mike then.
Okay,
and he's
but
always
here's
been
the
tall
thing.
Mike.
When it comes to this mic, every
Everybody's
other
tall.
mic
Yeah.
is tall mic.
But then you got Mike Bonadonna, then you got Gonzo Mike, then you got Gator Mike. Like
Yeah,
there's so
just
many
mics
different
everywhere.
mics.
Yeah, there's mics everywhere.
Then you got Gasser Mike. Like there's
And then
so,
Oh, I love Gas
And then
Mike.
there-
Mr.
there's-
Ferrucci!
then there's Mike Mike.
Mike.
What is, what is this?
I
Okay.
don't know.
this?
Well, hold
So,
on.
what is the
Let's
picture?
read into our first beer. We'll pour that,
Wait.
and then we'll get in. So
hold on.
we're actually
Hold
doing
if
on.
they can see at all I don't know
we're actually doing this a little bit different than we normally do because normally we go into
It's
a full.
a German
I'm
beer.
gonna-
and what,
I'm gonna-
what is what's?
All right, so so first off, this is the result of a little bit of an adventure today. So I went up to Infinite Ale Works because the only thing I found for sale in the stores is the West Floridian, the Belgian, but
Is
it's like a
this
10%
Infinite Ale?
beer.
Yeah.
And I didn't want to get a high octane one, so I went in there to see what they had in the case, and that was the only thing they had in the case.
in
At
Infinite Ale?
at
And
Infinite
it's
Ale
not
Works.
even theirs.
Yeah. So, all right. So no. This wasn't the case. No, this was the adventure afterwards.
Oh, okay.
But the one I was not wanting to get was the only one they had in the case, so I went elsewhere. So the first place I looked up said great beer selection. I went up there and it was basically a cooler with basic bitch beer.
okay
That
not
was a,
actual basic bitch beer.
no basic bitch beer.
Yeah.
Like it was. So
It's not the actual
no,
basic
not-
bitch. Yeah.
Which is now censored
Like
on the can
summer boat ride
now.
like tourist beer
Let's just get drunk as cheaply as possible beer.
Oh.
Like basically what we're normally drinking when we're not doing this.
This
Yeah.
is gonna be good, but like I just gotta say,
So
for the weird aspect of things, like I understand their logo and whatnot, and then the picture of the dude, but when you say that it's a German beer, and then you have
yeah, I know.
Mein Fuhrer?
Well, I mean, no, I mean those are pilot goggles, so that's like
So
pilot
it does happen to be an odd
I mean,
coincidence.
it looks like-
if you look at Fathead Brewery,
That's what I'm saying. That's
that's
the picture.
their
It's
regular
like the
picture.
Ray-Ban right
yeah.
And he just happens to have the
Yeah.
Ray-Bans on there.
Yeah, that
and
thing.
we're talking German style Hefeweizen. That's
So
this is what he would look like if it was like
so
social
I ended
media
up
was
going to a
available.
little
Yeah.
place
Don't
called.
pour.
So I ended up
Don't
going
pour.
to a
Don't
place
pour.
called the Metro Mart, which I've been in once before. It
Is
looks
that
like,
the one that? Yeah.
looks like a
okay,
sketchy
yep,
little gas
yep.
station, but when you go in the back, they have an amazing selection. Most of the prices are really, really high, so you have to kind of search for ones that are not. But I found this one, and as soon as I saw the picture, which is oftentimes how we choose beers,
It is.
Yeah.
we look at the can and go, "That's pretty good,"
Yeah.
so we get it.
Okay.
And so
before
this-
before you guys pour, read us in, but there is poor instructions.
Yeah, there's
Oh, there
literally
is?
instructions
make
on
sure
the
you follow
okay.
it. Read us in though.
I already opened it.
What read in?
Well, just
It just says
Fatheads.
Fatheads
Dog
Brewery,
Father.
chill out, man, and have a beer. So these guys are out of Ohio and apparently have a whole like brew pub restaurant up there in
so
this thing.
the instructions on it are it says handcrafted, unfiltered, pour slowly, but it also has it at about a 20-degree angle.
It says-
Well, it
Pour-
also
yeah.
says here, pour
Pour
2/3,
two-thirds.
swirl the
Oh,
rest
shit,
to top
swirl
off
it
the
in.
glass.
Yes.
Oh, so it's Funky Buddha Floridian.
Yes, okay.
So anyway, the name of this thing is Fathead. It is Fatheads Brewery, and it is their Goggle Fogger,
Oh my.
German style Hefeweizen.
Wow, that is really
2/3.
unfiltered.
Hey,
Swirls.
Looks like
Smell
orange
smell it out the
juice.
can.
Smell it
out
out
the
straight
can.
out of the can.
Oh, that smells.
It does smell
I wish
good.
I could
All right,
smell.
we just swirls now.
It almost has a mango hint.
Yeah,
Chris.
there's the fruity smell.
Well, you're
and
probably
then
probably going to be feeling.
You're hard, I'm hard.
Well, the last bit I'd say
Yeah,
probably
hardcore.
hard pour. No, with the swirl, do a
Yeah,
hard pour
definitely
with that
hardcore.
because it's gonna mix everything back together
It's
too.
hazy.
Yeah, what you're smelling there's
That
probably
is-
going to be banana and coriander, maybe
That
some
is
orange.
That's
Super
what. That's
hazy.
what it is. It's
I want to show this on camera. Look at how hazy this beer is.
Yeah.
You got us the pulpy
That's
beer.
just
Yeah,
orange
Good.
juice
I'm
right
excited.
there.
I miss my floaty bits.
I
haven't
love-
had
I love
floaty
that.
bits in a long
It's-
time.
Oh
been
yeah,
a while.
no, I can actually see them at the top.
Yeah,
too.
it's been a while.
Yeah.
You know, can I say something like slightly off kilter for that though?
I am off kilter.
I mean, the way we started, you can say anything.
He
Yeah.
is leaning too, so.
He's listing.
Starboard.
Excuse me.
Listing starboard.
I got your back.
So I actually fell in love with a non-alcoholic beer recently. It's from Athletes Brewing.
Oh yep, I've had it. Yep.
Well, they have a hazy IPA
Yep.
with floaties in
Yep.
it.
No.
Well, no, you know what I mean.
act-
I like my IPAs.
No,
but, like,
I've had it,
It
I've
has
had
no
it.
alcohol in it, but it tastes so friggin' good,
So,
and it's got
no.
floaties and everything.
I have to give
Like, it
him
looks
props
like
on
this.
that. No, it actually really does, because
Look
my
at
good
that.
friend Joe, he's actually about to be 1
You
year
have this like
sober. Good
dense
for him.
bubble in the middle. You
And
see it?
he was a big IPA person, and we ended
That
up
stuff's-
fine
it's
this at
good.
one of the
It's like a
speakeasies we
shade
were
away
at,
from Florida orange.
and it
Kinda.
and
All
it
right, guys.
tastes pretty good.
And this came from Ohio. Cheers, slancha,
Slancha!
salute,
Slancha! Salute! Cheers!
Salud.
kanpai.
Oh, that's good. That's banana juice.
Oh, that's
Oh, wow.
delicious.
Woo! I love
That is
banana.
really smooth.
It is. It's a real good.
This
that's good,
shit
though.
is bananas.
It's a lot of banana. A lot
That
of
is
banana.
fantastic.
Good.
All right, yeah.
Good
So
grab.
anyway,
Okay,
hi
so
guys.
my adventure, it was worth it.
Yeah. Hi, we're
So
Pints and
That's,
Pistons with
that
license
is very much a
registration.
we'll end up in the fridge again type of beer.
Oh, definitely.
Hey,
Like
I
said,
just
Cal, just look up Metromart.
I
think there's
just want
another
to say,
six-pack on
as
the
Dan
shelf.
was saying, holy shit, we actually did a beer within the first 10 minutes of the show. Wow,
that
that is record
that is
timing.
not us.
Great. It was
But
great.
also, we totally skipped over
Oh
there
no,
we go.
no,
the
we
other
got-
mic. And
That was weak
Wait,
sauce.
I know.
we
Well,
did-
I'm
we
trying
did
not.
the-
I'm
we did
trying
the
not to
small one.
burp and poop at the same time. So, yeah.
But like,
Anyway, so we got another mic over here,
yeah, that's what I was
and
gonna
we're
say,
welcoming
like,
him to the show.
Before we dive into like normal stuff, like I would like you to tell us, like,
Who are you?
yeah,
Because
that.
he pulled up in my yard, and I'm like, I think you're the person that's coming over to my house. Hi, I'm Mike. Who are you?
And he said, "I'm Mike," and you're
I'm
like,
like, okay, yeah, you're the guy. Okay,
Yeah.
this is him. He's here.
So I'm another Mike, another car guy, fellow podcaster. I mean, really, it's
And
that's
the
it at the
name of
core.
your podcast.
The name of the podcast is the License and Registration Show. That was the culmination of several hours of digging into names and finding out what URLs and social handles were available at the time.
See, we did not do that.
we just got lucky.
I
We got
off
lucky.
the cuffed it with
We got
Dan.
lucky.
And we went, yeah, let's do
Yeah,
that.
we got lucky.
No,
I
well,
literally
no,
did probably
we-
20 different names.
We
before I'm
did
like,
get
"Ah,
we
finally."
did get screwed on our website because during
that's
COVID
right.
in 2020 there was a
car show.
there was a company out of
Wasn't it California?
that just literally anything with pints and pistons, like piston this, pints and this, and
They
all
just
that. Bought every single URL, so that's why we ended up with .net. Because they ended up just owning it, and then they're like, well, you can buy it from us for $800.
But,
And I'm
but
like,
still, our name as a whole has it's like been easy
it's-
to plug everywhere. Like,
Well,
you know,
yeah,
Pints and
and
Pistons
there is one
There's
out
a motorcycle club in Chicago that's a Pints and Pistons ish thing.
Well, and then also in Chicago, there's a brewery that does a cart, like almost like a cars and coffee.
Yes,
and
that's
stuff,
Pints and
but they
Pistons.
didn't start it until 2023. And like we get tagged in all the time. They're like, oh, we went to them, like, and we get emails from them like, no, we've been doing this a lot longer.
Right.
They're coming up almost on 7 years.
Yeah.
so we
Yeah,
we were
no.
we were before COVID when we started doing
But
this.
I've been watching some of your stuff. I love the conversations that you've been having.
Yes.
And also the production's very, very
I was gonna
nice,
say,
too.
yeah, we
So-
admire to be that one day.
Well,
one
so-
day.
we kind of plateaued and like kind of chill here, and it seems to work. But honestly, you know, we could do it, but
it does work though.
it
Well,
does.
well, yeah, no, trust me,
It's-
I would like to go a little bit higher in, but I don't like forking out money.
We are at
So
our core a
we're-
bunch
we're-
of cheap bastards.
I'm very fortunate. So, for a day job, I've been in digital marketing for a long time.
Ah,
nice.
okay.
So,
okay.
like, for the past 20 years, all the ads on Google and Facebook
Okay.
and everything else, I apologize now. You know, some of that's probably been me.
You've been a part of it. Okay,
Yeah.
no, that's
Um,
good.
So, aside from that, photography became kind of just an outlet from being hyper analytical all the time. And I needed
Fair
to do
enough.
something that wasn't sitting at my desk.
Yeah.
Even though, in the grand scheme of things, I had to go back to my desk.
Is
to
it,
edit
edit,
photos.
Yes.
yeah.
So that kind of started that way. Then I started getting paid work, and then it became enough paid work where the side gig became like an official, legit LLC side gig. And then the hobby just kind of snowballed into something that just paid for itself. So if a particular client needed something done, and I'm like, oh, I don't have this or that, I built it literally into the quote so I could buy it and make money. And
Smart
a lot
thing
of
to
times
do.
the client was like, okay. So like, that works.
Yeah.
And yeah, so I've just kind of like acquired all this gear over time. But fortunately, it's come in a way that it's kind of paid for itself.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah.
and you can implement it in so many different ways now too. Like,
Right.
That's fantastic.
Right. So like right now, we've kind of we've got a couple different things that we got from a job we did out in Las Vegas for an OEM.
Okay.
And then it just kind of sat on the shelf for a while. So again, kind of backing up a little bit. I'm from Jacksonville, St. Augustine area. And so we started the podcast originally there at one of these luxury garage condo places that we had kind of befriended over the couple years.
Those were the first. Okay, yeah, because I've
Right.
watched a couple
Yeah.
of your
And
first
so
like
those
earlier
are in
episodes and saw
the
that.
owners' lounges.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
they just gave me a key.
I was gonna say it was a
carte blanche to
very,
do-
very nice looking place. I
Yeah,
gotta say that
yeah.
was very. I was like, ooh,
outside
damn.
of my tax bracket,
Yeah.
but very, very
It was
nice
yeah.
people.
it was fancy.
Very,
It
very
was.
nice
It was
people.
fancy.
And then when we moved here about 3 years ago, we had shelved the podcast just because at the time, you know, we had a lot of other things going on, work, etc.
That was one of the things that I'd noticed when when we first became acquainted, when we kind of first heard of each other,
Right.
and that was I went back and looked, and I'm like, wow, there's like a big gap here, but it was like, oh, okay, he's getting it back, getting it back started. We'll see how this goes.
Yeah, I mean that was really it. It was, and I actually have to thank my wife because she was the one like, hey, like I know we really enjoyed doing it and everything else. We've just been sitting on this for a while, so like, do we want to fire it back up or do we want to sell it?
Well,
Basically,
we have
like-
a lot of things in common with that.
Yeah. and she does, because she does all my production. So she's the audio board, the engineer, and like some of the other gear we have. So now we've got like a video switcher, and she runs the multicam switching and everything else.
Nice.
And so it's definitely, without her, I wouldn't be doing it. It would have probably just still sat on the shelf. But I'm glad, like I said, we're kind of getting back into the groove of things now.
Well, that's good.
So, have you always been into cars?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So my dad was a old school street racer in the 60s and 70s.
Nice.
And so like car culture just kind of permeated the family.
Yeah, I'm one of those. I'm the odd one out. Everybody in my family, nobody like was into doing anything with cars.
well,
and,
no, that's how it
Same-
was. I
same.
mean,
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's like
It
yeah,
was
My
it's
like
dad
there
was
was-
into airplanes.
Yeah.
My dad was in the Air Force, so my dad was into airplanes. But when I was a kid, They bought me Hot Wheels and Matchbox cars, and that was
That's
it.
that's
was
what
it.
that's what got me, and it was the Hot Wheels and Matchbox cars, but then it was
and then
at the
building
age
model
of
cars and RC cars and all that
the
stuff.
age of 6 when the neighbor's son. It was right when eBay like first started to go off. Ended up buying sight unseen a '65 candy apple
Oh my
red,
God, it was.
a candy apple red GT convertible that was rusted out like crazy, but they didn't show it in the pictures. And I remember it coming off the transport trailer, and he was so upset about it, but I was so excited about it. And I went running out there in sweatpants and my sister's hoodie that she had, that it was the closest thing, and I went running out there, and I got to sit in it, and I was the first one to be able to fire it up, and he was so upset. He's like, "There's rust," and I'm like, "But it's a Mustang!" And like that, watching that thing come off the car trailer, go into the garage, and him just be upset. But I was so excited about it.
That was where the addiction was
that
born.
right
Yeah.
there was boom. Like, I mean, I could already tell you like any car that was passing by and all that. And
That
with
was
all
me.
my Hot Wheels, but like sitting there, starting that car up, watching, boom. That was it. That
Well,
was the moment.
And it was funny. So like growing up, my parents bought an '69 Volkswagen convertible,
Ooh,
and they were the second owners. Bought it in '72.
was it a Super Beetle?
No, it was still flat windshield,
Okay.
1600 single carb, all that good stuff. And my parents, through thick and thin, they lived in Asheville, North Carolina, so it survived the mountains and winters. They finally moved back down to Florida, etc. So fast forward some, I'm 14, and the Bug at this point in time had sat in my parents' driveway for about 7 years, and then in the garage for about another 5.
Mhm.
Like, not started, had not moved except for that 10 feet. So I asked my dad one day, I was 14, you you start thinking as a 14-year-old.
Hey, what's going to be my first car?
Exactly. And so I went to my parents, I said, hey, if I get the Bug running, can I have it? And my dad's like, have at it. Like, basically, like, if you can figure it out and you're really
Good luck.
Yeah.
Well, yeah,
So-
but you can rebuild that engine on a kitchen table.
Oh, well, I mean, yeah, it's 4
Like-
bolts, 2
like,
hoses, and a couple of wires. You
Yeah,
can
that's
pick
it.
up.
Yeah.
So,
But you got a blind journey.
well, yeah, but I liked cars. I played with cars as a kid and
But
everything else.
yeah.
But to actually pick up a wrench
And,
Yeah.
and do
and
it.
turn that wrench.
Well, that's cool. That's really cool.
Well, the funny part is, so he's like, whatever. Yeah, and so that night there was that old school Haynes manual that was like in the frunk of the Bug,
When
and I
sitting
picked
on
it
the
out and I'm
dashboard.
like, all right, so this shit comes
You can
apart.
figure it
Yeah,
out.
and I'm like, this is like Legos, like this. There you go. And so the next I had stayed up almost all night, and my dad, he's an early riser. He always gets up like 4:30 or 5, and he realizes when he wakes up, like I'm still awake and I'm in the garage, and he comes out, and at that point in time, I knew. Lefty loosey, righty tighty. Lefty loosey takes stuff apart. Righty tighty puts it
I was
back
gonna
together.
say, you got
Until-
all so much shit taken apart in the garage.
until righty tighty turns into righty loosey, and you're
Right.
like,
That was a future lesson.
I can take it apart real good.
So he comes out to the fenders are off, seats are out, everything. Like I can take stuff apart like nobody's business. I'm basically a mechanic.
Every 14-year-old can just take shit apart.
Yeah,
That's
so
what
I'm
we
like,
did.
this is amazing.
good luck
And
putting
so-
it back together.
Yeah. So at that point, that's when he realizes, you're like, all right, well, let's teach him something, and so that's where it started. And I still, to this day, that Volkswagen is in my garage now.
Really?
Awesome.
Oh,
Nice.
that is
That's so
awesome.
cool.
So yeah, so my 2 toy cars, the Volkswagen's been in the family since '72.
That's wonderful.
Now in my garage, and then my '91
I was-
MR2.
you were telling us this about earlier.
My first car really in high school, I realized the Bug was not going to be my daily driver.
Mm-hmm.
Like, over almost 3 years, a lot of blood, sweat, and tears went into it. I'm like, I cannot daily drive this. So I ended up.
So you did make the appropriate blood sacrifices while putting it back together.
Yes. Oh yeah. And so from that point, I started driving like a 4-door Saturn. So the old school Saturn company.
Yeah.
Yeah,
No,
but see,
well-
talk all you want about them. I love them, man. That was a great
I had a
company.
great SL2.
That was a
Hey,
great
those
company.
were fantastic cars.
Wonderful cars, man.
You know what's cool though is so my son goes to the high school right here,
Okay.
and I drop him off every day. There's somebody that drives,
Mm-hmm.
and it's a student. Have you seen it?
Yep.
The teal and white
Yep.
one, Bug manual
Nice.
every day. when I'm leaving, they're coming in. I think it's a girl. Like,
Yep,
and I think she's
it
a high
is.
school
It
student
is.
too.
It
Like,
is.
like that's badass.
Yeah.
Like, hell yeah. But also the Saturn thing too. Yeah, my grandfather, for some weird reason,
Sorry,
was
ladies gotta
obsessed
come out.
with
I gotta go
Saturns.
potty. Go potty.
Like
go, go.
weirdly obsessed.
Right.
So,
Get her, baby.
my grandfather, like he grew up like very badly in Germany and moved here, got a really good job, made a lot of money, and I don't know why, but like in the mid to late '90s, Mans was obsessed. He bought the SL1, the SL2. He bought the wagons. He bought the
the
L3.
wagon.
He bought
I forgot about
the
the wagon.
L1s was like the L3000 or whatever. He loved Saturns. I don't know why, but he every like 2 years he'd buy him and my grandma a new one, and they'd be matching.
Well,
Like,
it was
every time.
they were great cars. They were really well they were econo boxes, but they were actually very well put together.
They were.
And also the dealership experience.
I was about to say that
that's
was one
why.
of the biggest
That
draws
was
on
it
that
was
was
yeah,
it
that
was
was
the
the-
Well, you know,
dealership
my
experience.
grandfather
Said
was
no
a
haggle
cheapskate,
pricing
so
law.
Yeah.
It was
probably-
this
yeah,
is the
that's
price of
probably
the
why.
car.
Like,
this
that-
is
that
what
was
you're
it.
going to pay, and it doesn't matter if you go to this dealership
Or
you
this
drive
one.
halfway across the
You're,
country.
you're
and go to
literally
another.
getting the same.
But also,
price.
it was their tagline. It's a different kind of car company.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And-
and they were very nice. Like they were very nice.
maybe that's why he liked it so much. Because like he was a what do you call it? He was an engineer, but like for the plane, like NASA kind of like
aerospace.
aerospace. He was an aerospace engineer. Yeah.
Use your
and,
words, Dan.
Sorry.
Aerospace,
And,
cargo
I don't know.
space.
He got obsessed with the Saturns.
No,
and
cargo road.
He would always talk about how it was a great experience, and he'd buy these new Saturns like every 2 years. His would be a manual, and my grandma's would be an automatic, and he'd buy matching ones. Or if she wanted a different color, he'd do that, and then he moved to Hondas after that, after Saturn died.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Basically. Because
Saturn didn't die. Saturn was murdered.
He
Saturn,
was-
Saturn was
he was
murdered and
audibly
then just
upset.
dumped in a ditch.
He was an angry old German man, and audibly said, "I can't believe
Look,
Saturn,"
see,
and just
there
so
was-
mad about
there
it.
was-
Like,
What I find
like,
amusing
his
about
cars
that
went
right
away.
there is that he's trying to emulate his German granddad, but he just sounded like a redneck.
Oh, so wait, was that supposed to be a German accent?
No,
This is
no.
Whoa!
Oh,
Good catch.
too fast of a grab. It's okay. You got the German. No, he got the German. That's what it was.
Saved it.
That was super
I
close,
need to,
though.
now I need to get paper towels. You almost lost your MTV glass.
That's
Great
all.
going, Dad.
That's all I was trying to say was the MTV
Well,
glass.
And the funny thing too is like he was always obsessed with like doing one modification to a car, and that would be the exhaust. I gotta hear it for it to go. My grandmother hated it. Every car he bought, even hers, do an exhaust. And in the like right before 2010, and when he was in Hondas, he bought my grandma a Fit,
No.
and he said, "I gotta get an exhaust on this thing." So my grandma had an orange Fit with the full like jazzy body kit on it, with cherry bombs.
I'm not gonna lie, that's actually kind of cool.
She
That
hated
is
it.
awesome.
This is like
She
early
hated-
2000s?
Yeah, she hated it so bad.
Okay.
He's like, "I love it. I love it."
Yeah, no, I mean, I loved my Saturn. It was great. But at that point in time, though, I was starting to hang out with like a lot more like car, like the Friday night, Saturday
Yeah.
night
Like,
car
yeah.
Yeah,
parking lot
Saturn.
meetups, and it was like I was like, man, I want like a Civic or an Integra or something like that. I ended up getting into like a mild accident with it. And I ended up having it painted almost like a grabber blue color with like the offset European dual
Yep.
stripes
Oh, you had
on a
dope
4-door
Saturn.
Saturn. So like it was fantastic.
That's fantastic. That
Which
is-
side did you have the stripes offset on?
Driver's side.
Correct.
Can I throw up a car spot real quick?
Sure.
All right, so call me stupid if you want. Is there a new Audi R8, like new generation?
No.
No, I don't
it's
think so.
dead.
It's
You
been
sure
dead
about
for
it?
the
Yeah.
last
Yeah,
R8's
few
dead.
years.
Final
Oh,
edition.
two years.
I think 2 years.
Like that recent though, right?
Yeah, I think
Okay.
2000. I think 23 was the
Oh,
last.
okay.
of
Well,
it.
no, I haven't seen one of that body style, but I saw one.
It's the same body style.
Right
Well,
before.
there's the two gens.
No, this one had like the modern Audi front end, like the.
Yeah, that's the newest gen.
It is. Okay,
Yeah.
I haven't
I
seen
think
one
they
in
started
person.
that in 19.
Yeah, late teens.
I haven't seen one in person. I saw one. It was right here by the Ford dealership. Had a temp tag on it and everything. And like I've seen plenty of the. I guess you said first
First gen,
generation.
yeah.
I didn't realize they did one. And like
Yeah,
you know.
second gen you couldn't get
I guess
a
I missed
V10
out.
in. It was only V8.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Still, good V8 though.
Yeah, but it wasn't V10.
He was driving very slow.
I know, but it wasn't V10.
Like very slow.
If you're gonna have one,
It's gotta be V10.
It's gotta be a V10.
Like doing like 35.
I mean, V8 sounds really good.
Like,
but no,
doing like 35 in front of Ford. Like
Okay.
slow.
Well, he knows where the
I've-
troopers sit.
I found that Citrus County has a very hidden, sneaky car scene culture.
You are
It does.
not wrong.
You know
Like-
where they're all at? People's garages. That
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, like, driving
But-
through the
and
neighborhood,
half
a
of them are
random
in Pine
Ferrari
Ridge.
California drives by this morning, like that whole new shop, like La Canto shopping center area. I'm at the light. Coming across to me is a yellow GT3 RS.
Mm-hmm.
There's
Oh,
there's a
I
red
see him all the
GT3
time.
or red GTS Cayman coming this way.
It's because
It
of
was
Black.
like
it's
a
because
Porsche
of
festival
it's
in the
because of
United
Black
States.
Diamond.
My
and,
people.
Yeah, it's the- I mean, it was
and,
definitely
and,
black.
and was it Tuscan?
The
Yeah,
GT3
yeah,
RS,
the
the
one
yellow
over on
one,
the
I see
right-hand
him
side.
all the time. His name's Carlos. He's
Oh, yeah,
super
yeah,
cool.
yeah,
yeah.
He's got a
Tuscany
GT3
or
RS and he's
whatever.
got
No,
a
not
white
Tuscany.
GT.
Yeah, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
That,
as
that
well.
one there.
Yeah, he's super cool dude.
But no, the best way with our county is when you're just driving down random roads, not seeing them on roads. What you see in the garage.
In the garage, yeah. Like there,
Going to his house.
yeah.
You pass right, but just on a random side dirt road in the garage, there's a split window vet.
It's,
and
no, it's
a-
not split window. It's a roadster. It's a C2 roadster, 63 C2 roadster. But also
and
he's
then
got
the
he's got
like
a 65.
Chevelle.
No, it's a 65. It's a Mopar of some sort,
Oh.
Belvedere or something like
Yeah.
that. Also sitting there.
Yeah.
So over on Kensington, if you got off of 44 onto Kensington, when you followed it around and then started to go towards Citrus Hills, like 3 houses in a garage, there used to be a C1 Corvette that was up on jack stands in the garage forever.
That guy still lives there? I know.
I don't know. I don't know. I haven't seen the car now. I don't know if the car's
No.
been out or if it's somewhere else or if somebody else lives there. But for years, that thing sat in there.
Right.
Off of Croft, if you turned onto Harley Street and went about almost halfway down, every now and then the garage would be open. There's a plumb crazy 70 or 71 Cuda sitting in there.
You know
I
what-
never saw that car on the road, but for decades that thing sat in that garage.
You know when you
Yeah.
come down Kensington and you take like the left and there's the big house and there's one next to it?
Yeah.
That was
So-
where.
Yeah. That's where my
Well-
buddy Sean was. And
well,
we had so many fucking
well,
crazy cars there.
And then I think Ben's Used Miata Parts is still there.
Yeah. And then, earlier on Kensington, it was the Haggard Garage guys were there and everything. And
Yep.
Well, no, it was before Kensington. Because it splits.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
if you go through the amount of Panteras that I've seen just sticking out of people's garages and that, like there's a lot
like-
of good stuff that you'll just be going down like a side road and be like, oh,
Hell,
okay,
just-
right over here, Delante that sits in the fucking old guy's garage. That is a perfectly shaped Delante.
There's
That is
and
amazing.
then there's the first gen Probe with the OG 98 rock decals on the back of it. That's over there.
Yep,
I see a red first gen Probe like almost every
That-
day.
Well, there's
it might be that one.
there's
There's two. Well, there's
there's,
two.
there's some
No,
people in our
it's,
club that have a pair of GT turbos.
Yeah, it's the wife.
Yeah,
I
no,
see
like-
her almost every day.
Yeah, her and her daughter
Yes.
or my whatever. They have 2 of them that are both red. One's nicer than the other one, but they're 2 first gen Probe GT turbos.
I gotta see the date here. No, it's
There used
May.
to be a guy that lived out in Black Diamond that he had like an F355 white, and half the time you would see it, it would have roundels on the side of it, and when you get up close to it, it had frickin' track rash all over it because he took it out and he raced it,
Ran it.
and then would drive it on the street.
There's
Like-
a red 355 Spider that I've seen in the downtown Crystal River area more than once, which at least lends me to believe he's local.
There's a guy over in this area that's got a 308 Mondial
Yep.
rolling
Yeah,
on it,
seen
on
them
a set of
before.
360
Yeah.
360 Modena
It
wheels.
looks
the
so
bastard
good, dude.
child of the Ferrari.
But like you go up and look inside of it, and
Ferraris.
it's got grass debris. I mean,
Yeah.
this thing
He
is
drives
constantly.
it.
This guy just drives it as a daily driver with the top down and everything else, just constantly rocking it.
Well, and it's funny because that's where, like, when I bought my MR2 in high school, literally got the morning of my senior prom. And the reason why I bought that car is we had just gone down to the 12 Hours of Sebring.
Mm-hmm.
And
Ah.
my
Best
buddy-
day ever.
My buddy's
Yeah.
dad used to work for Lotus in their racing department back in the 80s. So he knew a lot of the people, like crew chiefs and everybody else in the pits there. And I remember this like it was yesterday. It was the Tommy Hilfiger F355 challenge car, because it was the Ferrari challenge race that was going on. And I think we were 17 maybe at the time. And the crew chiefs are like, "You want to get in the car?" And we're like, "Hell yes."
Yes, I want to get in the car.
Yeah, in the Ferrari race car, absolutely. So we get in, and so we're like, "Oh, this is awesome." Everything else, he goes, "You want to hear it?" Yes. So we got to be in the car, starting it up. You know, he gave it a couple little throttle blips, and I'm like, sold. You know, just you know, if I knew what a credit card was and I had credit at the time, I'm like, I don't care.
So, have you ever heard of the wanna go fast half-mile drags?
Yeah, I've
Okay.
done photos for him.
Okay,
Yeah,
so
we went every single year.
they used to
every
have them in
single
Ocala.
Yeah, no, Ocala.
Yeah.
At
Yeah.
Jumble Air.
At Jumble Air.
So
Yeah, John Travolta's place.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we went the
So-
track would shut down while
While-
John
while
Travolta
John
would go to
Travol-
leave, and you'd be
Yeah.
like,
Then we were standing at
"Hi."
the same event,
Yeah.
and they had
Well,
to shut things down.
Yep.
the first few years, it was like super unregulated.
Yeah.
And then
like,
the Lambo going into
Yeah,
and then
and then
a
with-
little
Well, and a
pond.
guy died in New Orleans.
Yep.
so
So-
up
Yeah,
here,
I think
like
that's why they stopped that one.
Yeah.
I walk through the pits and I just be like, "Oh, sweet car! Oh, nice car! Oh, hey, can I go for a ride?" And then I realize like people are doing rides, and I'm like,
Yeah.
"Okay, so bring a helmet." Next year, I bring a
Well,
helmet. I'm like, "Hey, can I go for a ride? Hey, can I go for a ride?" And I go for rides and cars, and then third year, I bring the helmet again, and then I got people starting to say, "You want to drive?" And I'm like, "Yes." So it was before, I think, their fourth year of being up there.
Yeah.
When they stopped people from doing that.
Yeah.
I drove 3 cars that blew my fucking mind, and
Because I think I was the one that was taking the videos for you while you were driving them.
that was ignorant.
Mm-hmm.
Very, very ignorant. But no, what I was gonna say though, but behind that, May, the 3rd week of May, going to drive the Pantera. in Miami.
Nice.
Yes.
Nice.
I will take plenty of videos.
Does it
Got
still
more
have the
deets.
351 in it?
Fully built with a tunnel of snake headers. Yes, I know.
Nice.
I'm so excited.
It's gonna sound so.
Oh, I
definitely
can't
definitely
wait.
get pics and videos
See,
of that.
and I don't
Man,
understand why
Speaking
people
of-
I don't
well-
understand why people don't like the Pantera, because it is beautiful Italian design and engineering with the power plant that's actually going to work.
Yeah. So speaking
That's
of
actually
Panteras,
going to work.
and again the hidden cars things around here. So
There's been one
being in
for
high
years.
being in high school around here, you would see the occasional cool car.
Right.
And there were some of the rich kids in school that their dads would buy them a Fox body or an F body. One kid had a C4 Corvette. You know, it was probably his dad's, but he got to drive it all the time. But most of us were driving, 70s and early 80s shit boxes, which was fine. But every now and then you would see, like, this cool car, or you would see that cool car. But there wasn't, like, a car scene here.
Right.
But it turns out, looking back, all those guys that had those cool cars,
Kept
they
them.
were street racing.
Well, yeah, yeah.
And, like, there was, like, legitimate illegal street racing going on here. But, it was very, very under the radar kind of thing.
Yeah.
But as far as Panteras go, where Sims Motors is on 41, where the big elephant is,
Yeah, right where I live.
for years,
Are you live
like
up near the famous elephant?
Yeah, I
Like
live right
behind
past there.
Nice.
Yeah, on the
I'll
left.
never forget the first time we saw it. I was like,
like
what?
Yeah.
all
Welcome to Citrus
like
County.
okay. Now, keep in mind that building has been there as long as I can remember, but the elephant was not. So when
Right.
it was just a building.
No,
There used to be a white Pantera, first gen Pantera, small bumper first gen Pantera, sat in that building for decades. And then, I don't know, probably 15 to 20 years ago, I think, maybe 25, went away. And I've always wondered what happened to that particular car.
You know the story of the pink elephant, though, right? You know what it is?
No.
So, cool car thing. I guess back in like the 40s or 50s, there was some big oil brand, and they had a pink elephant as their mascot.
So it's our version of a muffler man.
That's what it is. That pink elephant was one of the oil mascots to promote this oil brand.
The dinosaur garage down on 19 in Spring
Hey!
Hill. Sinclair Oil.
Yep.
That was the old Sinclair Oil thing.
That's what that fucking elephant
Well,
is.
see, I grew up with that place. Like, we took our cars there. Then we also took our cars to where what Marker 48
They do
is
a lot
now.
of dump trucks now,
And
like
that,
garbage
like,
trucks. And
yeah.
stuff. They have a good solid,
Yeah.
for that, like an account, I guess you could say. But
Well-
that place is cool though.
Before we go into our second beer, I wanted to ask, what made you start your podcast? And also, I have
It
another
was the
question.
cool thing to
in a
do.
little-
No, I mean, at that point in time,
What year was it when you started it?
this was right after the pandemic. So I want to say 21.
Okay, so it was when I don't mean this in a bad way. It was when everybody was like, "Okay, well, we got
Stuck at home.
like, yeah," and so
right. It
podcast,
Was, yeah,
like,
we were stuck at home.
I mean, but was amazing because like there's a lot of really good podcasts that came out of because like,
well,
hey,
a
like
ton
let's
of
do
content
this.
creators
Yeah.
came out of that whole
Yeah.
thing. I mean,
Yeah.
it was an outlet to get your ass out of the house.
Exactly, yeah.
And so it's, I laugh, like I had zero interest in photography. I
Mm-hmm.
got into it because my wife needed some help with some brand thing that was going on and they
Mm-hmm.
needed photos. So like we had this very basic DSLR, like a Rebel T7
Yeah.
or something, and I put that thing on auto mode and I hit the button. There you go. Fast forward, I've met a ton of amazing people. I've got to do a lot of really cool things via photography.
Mm-hmm.
And I was realizing that a lot of the people that I was meeting had a lot of cool stories.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, man, and I've always been like a very like client-facing type of
Mm-hmm.
personality, even in my regular job.
You're a personable person, is
Right.
what it
So,
is,
like,
yeah.
I mean, I can talk to one person. I can talk to a group of 500. It doesn't
Mhm.
matter.
Like,
So,
combine that with photography, and you gotta.
well, yeah, and it's
Great
been
thing.
it's been great. And so
Mhm.
you start finding out these people that have these stories are like, hey, I know this guy that does this. He would be really cool to talk to, et cetera, et cetera. And so I started at that point in time just kind of talking to people about it, and then I kind of talked to some of the ones that I knew a little bit better. I'm like, if I do this, would you? And they'd be like, yeah, let's do it. Okay, so it just kind of fell out of that. And just I enjoyed talking to people. I liked kind of hearing about how they tick. How they got where they were. At currently.
Yeah.
Those types
Yeah.
of things. And then I had listened to a lot of podcasts, so like I was interested in like the entrepreneurial type stuff,
Yeah.
or like even just hearing just interesting stories.
Mhm.
So really, it just became out of like wanting to talk. It gave me an excuse to talk to somebody that I normally wouldn't get a one-on-one with,
Yeah.
and be able to talk to them for an hour and ask them anything I want.
Yeah. True. Okay.
And you find a lot of cool, like, common ground, but at the same time, just like general interest, like
Yeah.
in the,
And then for some
the
reason, they
human
decided to talk
aberration,
to
I
us.
guess you'd
Yeah.
say.
Well, but it's one of those like.
And us
so,
car people, we're a fucking weird breed.
Yeah,
Like,
you guys, because
really
I'm still a little
strange.
bit in the dark about how the whole this thing happened. Because, like I said, all I know is we were at his wedding, and he's like, "Hey, you're gonna be at Cars and Coffee tomorrow? Cool, you gotta see this guy." Bam.
Well, and so that
Okay.
that whole
And
that,
then Mike goes, "I bought some pallets. I'm making a bar." And this,
well, no,
this is
no,
all
no,
from
no, no,
pallets,
no,
by
no,
the way.
no. So how they
Pallet Bar
started,
predates us.
So it was
So,
we
Brian
were
being on my show.
yes. So
Yes.
it was we were at Chris's wedding
Okay.
and bring out if you're going inside, bring
Yeah.
out the next beer. We're at Chris's wedding. It's 9:30 at night. I'm 3 sheets to the wind because one, I wasn't driving, and also Chris was like, "We have all this beer, drink," and I'm like, "Okay."
Don't have to tell me twice.
Yeah.
We were expecting about 50 people, so I bought beer for like 70 people, and then 30 people showed up. So I'm
Right.
like, I
You
don't
have a
drink that much.
surplus.
I don't drink that much.
He looked at me.
Jesus.
He's like, "Do your duty," and I'm like, "Aye, Captain."
On it, Captain.
I'm like, 2 beers in both hands. Let's go. I'm like, if one's
I
not
put
open,
you on the
give.
Kennedy plan.
Just let's
Payback
go.
for
Let's go. So it was all of a sudden Nate messaged me and was like, "Hey, license registration is going to be doing a podcast. Like, I want you to be on the show." And I'm like, "When?" He's like, "Tomorrow morning for
Tomorrow
Cars and
morning.
Coffee." And I'm like,
You're like, that's gonna be a problem.
No, I'm
The
like,
science
because
does not
and
support that.
I'm
decision.
doing calculations. I'm like, okay, if I go to bed now at the wedding, like
You have to
I-
do math.
yeah, but I'm like, no. Even like by the time I get home, I'm like, I know how much I've drank right now. I'm like,
Yeah.
I will still, when I wake up at that time, I will still be drunk. I'm not
Yeah.
driving. Like, it's not even gonna be the hangover at that point. It's still gonna be, I'm gonna be drunk at that point. So
Yeah.
I'm like, I like that Brian.
He was on the Kennedy plane. Like all of a sudden, it's just out of the blue. He's like, "Hey, you're going to Cars and Coffee tomorrow, right?" I'm like, yeah."
And I'm like,
he's
cool.
Like, he's like, "You got to go talk to Nate. See if he can
And
get
I'm
two
like,
legs, and you got to
Brian's
go talk
gonna
to
be
this guy,
there.
da, 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 da."
I'm like, one leg's gonna be there. Look for one legs. He's gonna be on the thing. He's like, are you sure? And I'm like, are you sure you're going? He's like, yeah. I'm like, he says he's going. Let's go.
And so I'm like, well, he didn't tell me
anything.
Like, he didn't tell me He didn't tell me
'Cause, again,
anything.
Oh, so he's
No.
just saying you're gonna be there.
Oh yeah, I just.
I did not tell him anything. Also
I
because at that
figure-
point I was one eyeballing it, trying to type. So
Like
yes,
said,
I did
was
not.
like I went into that completely blind, and it wasn't until
Pass it down.
So since
It
there's
was-
only 4 of
I didn't know
these,
if you
you want
needed
to
to go
split?
You were all like at the door.
She's having tummy
yeah.
issues
So
right
it
now.
was basically it wasn't until Nate came up to us beforehand and said, "Hey, by the way, this podcast is here. His name's Mike, and he's doing this thing called License Registration Show. He's like, you can be on it, da 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 da." And then Two Legs was like, "Well, yeah, I guess I'm doing it." And
Yeah.
that was my introduction
know
to
that.
it, because like I said, I was completely.
Mazel tov.
Like I said, he just came up and he's like, "You're gonna be there, right?"
So
Yeah.
bad for him.
Yeah, that's how it
You
worked
said you were
out.
gonna.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and it's so weird. So like we went from recording all the shows at this, and so the name of that condo place was called Wheelhouse. Great guys, still talking to them. But at that point in time, I was wanting to do something a little bit different, and so there was another Cars and Coffee. I mean, there's Cars and Coffees everywhere. That was going on. I hit up the guy that runs it and said, "Hey, you know, I know you've been we talked about having you on the show at Wheelhouse. What if we did the show at your Cars and Coffee?" And he's like, "Can you do that?" I'm like, I was like, "We can figure it out." He's like, "Let's do it." So that was the first recorded, first show we did live at an event. And I was like, I really liked it. I just felt it was something a little different than every other,
Yeah.
done in a studio
Oh, yeah.
podcast.
No, if we had the equipment for that,
Well,
yes, like
the-
that
the-
is something
the
that
only-
we
so
would
really
absolutely love to do.
Our long-term goal, and I want to have it kind of set up by summer, I want to be able to record the episodes and stream the episodes live
Yeah.
from events. So if you think kind of like college game
Yeah,
day,
yeah.
or
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
pre-game
Mhm.
things that are going on and those types of stuff. So that's kind of in the cards. But yeah, like the gear that we've kind of acquired and everything else, we're almost there. But we'll figure out how that goes. But yeah,
Yeah.
Well,
live shows is definitely what I really
Well,
want.
and that's where we've always been. It's one of those. Our main thing is we're YouTube's only live, unedited,
Unscripted, what you see is what you get.
It's literally what
I
a
mean-
podcast is, but yeah, you can go back and watch it, but guys, this is. Woo!
Yeah, we're
this
live.
is live.
We're live.
This is what it is.
Right, I mean,
This
it's-
is real life right
There-
here.
there's
there's
no
we
editing, anything like
started
that.
out. We've done episodes on the couch. We did episodes here at the round table.
That's how I've
we
been
were-
going, and it's like
we-
go
like,
through.
we-
I've
we
been-
started-
I've watched
we-
the
like,
show
We've
more.
done it in the garage.
We've done it in the garage at Chris's house.
garage,
We've done it at
like-
his house. And so it wasn't, like I said, then Mike got a bunch of these pallets from work and then built the pallet bar. And that was
I just did it because I
Chris,
saw.
hold on, Chris just got a little.
If you
broken.
watch
Oh.
enough of the My Garage episodes,
Oh no!
We'll send
talk
that one to you.
We'll talk about that after. Yes.
Afterward.
No,
So there's a special.
special- there's a
Oh, yeah.
special
So there's a
event.
Christmas special somewhere.
there's a special.
Oh no! It was almost 4 idiots from Citrus County on YouTube just got canceled.
No,
We almost got
And it
banned
wasn't
from
even us.
YouTube.
It
We almost got
wasn't-
banned
it
from
wasn't
YouTube.
even
but,
us.
But like I said, story
But-
factor. But what I was just thinking though, for what you're saying, if you had a nice little PC you could bring with you,
Well,
could
so here's
do
the
all
thing.
that
So
from one.
I don't need a PC. So
You do straight from the camera, or
No, so we've got this the video switcher. It's the dumbest name in the world, but it's a great product. It's called the YOLO box.
Yeah.
And the YOLO box has 4 HDMI inputs.
Ooh.
You can live switch, you can add lower thirds, titles, everything
Yeah.
else. I can run the audio from my mixing board straight into it. And
Can you
It-
send us a link?
Sure. They just released the YOLO Box Ultra, which is
What do you control it from your phone or?
it's an Android-based device. It does everything.
Oh,
from the unit.
really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's.
Is it cellular or is it just
It
Wi-Fi?
can be.
Okay.
Yeah, but you can connect to Wi-Fi. So if you either
Oh.
have a hotspot, Starlink, whatever it may be.
So you
Can you send
you
us
could
a link?
basically with that unit you could mobile podcast on top of having a
Mobile live
camera
stream.
set up behind that. Then,
well,
right?
that's what so the show that we did,
Yeah.
that was all run from the YOLO Box.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like and the best part is I mean I know we didn't do it, we didn't stream live.
Yeah,
but it
like,
records straight to an SSD that we have attached to it.
yeah.
And as we're sitting there, my wife's swapping camera angles,
Right.
and so I don't even have to go back and edit the cuts. Like she does all the cuts.
Yeah.
All I do is add my lower thirds, a little intro, and I'm done.
That's nifty. Cause
I know.
I was thinking
I'm gonna
like,
talk to him about it.
Okay. I was like, hold on.
that,
It's just this would be boring stuff for the show, but
I
I,
know.
want to pick his
Well,
brain
no,
about
We're,
all
we're,
of it.
we're gonna pick your brain
that's-
about this.
yeah,
Okay.
absolutely.
Anyway.
That's nifty because I was thinking like if you had like some kind of like the Dell Optiplex computers are so great of a shell. The shell.
Yeah.
Just the shell.
Yeah.
And you could build like a micro ATX like
I saw
solid
Blue
setup
Marauder
to stream
yesterday.
and camera capture at the same time, but that eliminates
So, Mike,
needed it.
that eliminates the
This
whole thing.
is what
That's
we car people
fantastic.
sound to
You
be like
can-
to people who aren't car
We're
people.
doing computer stuff. Calm down.
But it has a car base.
It does.
There's a foundation
There's
to
parts
it.
and pieces.
So there's that. There's another product from Blackmagic called the A10 Mini, ATEM Mini.
Also, you tasted it without
You can do the
us
same
second
thing.
Oh, I'm
cheers.
sorry. I got
Yeah.
going. I'm sorry. I'm
You got excited.
I'm going. I like computer stuff.
but yeah. So
You don't say.
You
Yeah, I do.
You don't need the computer.
Really?
You can do it without it, and it makes it so much easier.
I live under a rock, I guess. I'm sorry. Anyway, hi everybody. We have another beer. Sorry.
Wait a minute.
Pretend you didn't see nothing.
Talk about living
He
under the
actually
rock.
hasn't cracked his yet, so give him a
No,
second.
no, it's okay. Look,
I am the
it's
old
right
guy.
there.
I am the old guy here, so I'm the one that lives under a rock.
Do you need to talk about it?
I think it's
So this is the one I brought.
Ooh, Italian Pilsner.
We've got
course,
Ology
of course
Brewing
you do.
Company's Italian-style pill.
Allergy in the house. Sorry, I had to do that.
Tallahassee.
No read in here, so we're
Lady
just
melted.
looking 5% alcohol by
She
volume.
just wanted to be with the
Created and packaged by Ology Brewing Company, Tallahassee, Florida.
Oh yeah.
Italianology.
What was this one?
Ohio, I believe.
5.4.
Yeah, 5.4. This was very, like I said, these are.
This one's what?
None of us have tried it. If you
Fine.
you just redact that footage.
Exactly.
Well.
Again,
Well,
we're
it's
live.
live,
Thank you for being.
unfortunately.
Yeah,
as-
well.
And you know what, Dan? You were the one that quoted that whole saying that we
did.
were.
I did.
Like, you're the
I
one
did.
that did the
I
whole
grabbed the
bio that we are YouTube's first
Unscripted.
unscripted, unedited,
That's what we
live
do.
podcast.
Well, that's what
we do.
happens in a live show. Sometimes
Hold on.
things don't go
Hold
to
on.
plan.
Hold
Alright.
on. He's got head to say.
I was gonna say we need to
Hold
teach
on.
you how to pour beer.
I'm
No
not
offense, no
excited.
offense, but don't no. Just let it sit. Just let it
It's
sit.
sick.
But I will say.
Just let it sit.
Hold on.
Just let it sit.
Patience.
I will say this though. The last time I spoke with him, we were walking around at Cars and Coffee, and he was doing another podcast. Who were you doing that with? Last Cars and Coffee last month.
That was with the other photographer because I watched.
That was
one.
that was with Pete
Yeah.
Navarro.
Okay,
It
so
has
he
the
was setting
white
up. The,
IS 500.
yeah.
Oh,
So
yes, okay,
Yeah. So
yeah.
he was setting up.
I
No,
know.
you're thinking of the
No,
the guy
no.
with the Mordor red.
Yeah, no,
M3.
it wasn't him. No, I watched that one, but yeah, no, BMW. I
Yeah. So
just instantly saw
he
that.
told me that since we were on and we were talking about the beer and stuff, he's been exploring a bit.
Well, that's good.
Good.
So, like I said, there was one I thought
It's
about
a rabbit
getting.
hole
I
that
thought
you end
about
up going
getting. I
down.
thought there was another one that I thought about getting, but I was like, not really cold enough for that one because it was a stout.
Oh yeah.
But
I'm not really much, and I discovered this. I'm not really much of like a real heavy dark beer drinker.
They're really filling.
Yeah, it's
And-
And it's not
dense.
the alcohol
It's very
content.
dense.
It's dense. It's
Yeah, no,
like
it has-
it's like eating a loaf of bread.
Yeah.
but
And-
it's like,
I-
but
I
and
love
also too,
Guinness,
if
but,
you
like,
if you
Guinness-
get one of those that's also a higher alcohol content, it just really sits heavy on
Yeah.
you.
Yeah.
Some of them are really really tasty, but after that you're just like,
It's
Oh yeah, like
You know-
I could have probably had 4 or 5 of those.
Yeah.
yeah, and that's
But then
yeah.
we've also have ones that are in that same, smaller cans than that, like in 10-ounce cans,
Right.
that are super dark and also like 12%, to where we're splitting that 10-ounce cans between
Yeah,
us
yeah,
because
yeah,
it's
yeah.
like,
And
it's heavy.
That-
yeah, like I said,
reminds
if
me
you were
too,
to
like-
actually if you were to actually drink a glass of that,
You're done.
it would just sit on you like a ton of bricks.
Yeah.
And you'd just
It's
be
not
like,
that you're
"Ugh."
drunk. It hurts. It's
You just-
full.
yeah.
You're
Full.
full.
Well, that
Yeah,
reminds
full.
me, like, when I was in Ireland, like, the stouts, they were really prominent and popular. And, like, you go sit down for dinner and have a stout, and you didn't want to finish your dinner even if you were hungry.
Yeah.
Like they were...
It's liquid. It's literally liquid
Yeah.
bread. Like
Yeah.
that's what it
But
is.
anyway,
So
the
there was a
pills,
question
the
that
pills.
you had asked a question at the end of our thing, and you said, "What makes a good
Cheers.
beer?"
Hold on. Let's just cheers really quick.
Yep,
'Cause
yep,
this
yep.
done.
Slanches,
I
gentlemen.
really
Slanches,
want
slanches,
this.
slanches.
Salud, because it says Italian.
Chin chin.
Pepperoni pizza. I don't know. I don't know what to say.
It's a Pilsner.
That's a pilsner.
It's a
That is
Pilsner.
definitely a Pils.
Nothing else to say about it.
I was gonna
Unfortunately.
say, that's
It's a
about it.
pilsner.
I mean,
It's not bad. It's not great. It's not
It's a little.
offensive.
It's
not-
dry.
It is dry, but I'm okay with that.
Yeah, it's supposed to be.
Oh,
It's a
yeah.
pilsner.
It's dry.
So probably the answer I should have given you to that question was, if it's a beer you like and you finish it, then it was good.
yeah.
Like like he likes IPAs.
I was gonna say I've made I think more beers get thrown out on this. On
Like
this,
he
on
likes
this
like
series.
he really likes IPAs.
I do. I love IPAs.
I don't like IPAs, so for
Right.
me, an IPA is not a good beer. For him, it's fantastic beer.
Right.
Like Two Legs, he likes Mick Ultra.
Right.
Not my favorite beer, but it's okay. But for him, that's a great beer.
That's what he likes.
For me, it's a
Yeah.
beer.
You know what I'm glad that my dad has fallen in love with and has made his favorite? Red Right Return.
Yes.
That makes me so happy. Like, because he's
if-
usually one of those guys that he'll always get Yingling or
Yeah.
Miller or something.
There's like a standard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like, I tried to show my dad some IPAs and he's like, and then like we went to Crump's one night and I was like, Dad, try the Red Right Return because I know you like he likes Smithwick's. And I'm like, you gotta try Red Right
Oh,
Return.
babies.
And he tried it, and he's like, "Oh, game over." And he ever since then, anywhere we go, my dad asks first, "Do you have a Red Return?" And if not, he has it in his fridge. He loves that shit.
So it's Marker 48 down
Yep.
in Wikiwachi, and a lot of the restaurants in Crystal River and whatnot
Yep.
have Red Right Return on tap.
It's so good.
So it's their Irish red, and
a
it's
proper
it's
Irish
not
red.
the it's not the
one of our favorites.
it's not the
Yeah.
top of our
Really
Irish
good.
reds, but it's right there in like top 5 Irish reds that we've ever had, and
Yeah.
I have that one a lot.
Yeah. Well, when you and I were talking, and even like on the show, before the show, after the show, and I was asking about like obviously the number of beers you guys have tried, kind of like a ranking system and everything else, and
The ranking system's pretty much like we just kind of remember the ones that we really liked.
You know,
but
we,
we didn't
we
like
should do like a sit down night and do a tier board.
yeah.
we
The
should.
but I mean.
But he's got it all locked up.
yeah, that's
locked on
and
the
that's
Google
what, yeah,
Doc.
that's he's
you
like,
know?
oh, we got it in a Google Doc.
Yeah, like I said. So
I'm like, there we go.
So by going by what I've gone for the document, and we didn't always have this, so when I started setting this up, I literally had to go back to episode 1 and watch all of the episodes.
Oh,
and that
so
was
you went back and even
No, he did.
and that was
the,
probably-
the Google Doc is solely Brian.
hey Mike, the other Mike.
Hey,
Yeah, also huge
Gasser
fan of Red
Mike.
Right
What's
Return.
up, other Mike?
Oh, sorry. I was in the bathroom.
Another
But
mic.
also, speaking of Red Right
Multiple
Return,
mics.
Sabrina does not like beer. The one that, well, actually the two that she will go on is if they have Red Right Return, she will get Red Right Return or
And not even not
You're My Boy
and,
Blue.
and not reluctantly get right. She's like, oh,
She
I'll
orders-
have that
She
one.
orders it.
Yes,
Yeah, yeah.
yes.
So,
like not like I'll take a sip of, like she will order Red Right Return.
So it was
Like, she
probably
loves that
around
one.
episode 70 or 80
Yeah.
that because I'd started doing like we were kind of keeping like an email list.
Right.
Like I just like go back and just update the list in our Gmail, but that was kind of just a generally pain in the ass when we started doing it
Yeah.
because it was like I had to upload it and did.
Well, then we realized it was, hey, we've been doing this for a while. We should probably get something like a document.
Like I said,
That's where
like I
Brian
said-
became the beer
Yeah.
list
Like I
king.
said, version 1 of the was kind of like an email thing, but
Right.
it was not wasn't really easy. So then it was like, oh wait a second, Google Docs, we can. Yeah, there we go. So I, on the Pints and Pistons side,
Right.
started the Google Doc, and now like I've gotten to where I pretty much like I've already updated our list. Like
Yeah.
I just do it while we're here, so I don't forget about it. But according to my list, and I might be an episode off because again, like I said, I actually had to go back and watch a whole bunch of them and then keep up with it. This is 155. So you figure average 2 beers per episode.
Some of them we've had 3. Some of them we've had 1 because we've thrown it away. Dan.
Because the second one was that bad.
What?
No, because it was
first one was
that
No,
bad.
because Dan brought it.
Because Dan brought it, or it was
I've
something
messed
like
up a lot of times.
like
Duplicate.
I have a
or-
weird.
The
we-
hibiscus
Well,
bear, Dan.
Hey,
And
listen,
me.
listen.
And you too. And you too.
Listen here.
Yeah.
Not for nothing. I got COVID halfway through doing this stuff, and COVID for me, that was it for over a year.
Because he got-
straight up
couldn't-
eliminated
he couldn't
taste
even
and
taste
smell.
anything.
So you know what?
He's like,
I
I
got
got this. And we're like,
reinvented.
oh my
I
God,
got
this is
reborn.
horrible.
All right.
So,
Like,
but actually, see, he caught it fairly early on, so he got the full
Oh, so
Wuhan war
I did.
version.
I
He got the
did.
full Wuhan war weapon version.
uh-huh.
By the time that it rolled around to me, Mother Nature had stepped in and said, "Whoa.
I was gonna say you two.
You are out of equilibrium
Yeah.
with the rest of me.
Just saying, you two are the only ones that got it.
You
Well,
need to."
I got it.
well,
Yeah, I never did.
I got it when I was in Savannah, and it was a weekend flu, and that's all it was.
I never got it.
It was like
I
a
was
cold.
I was sniffly for a day.
It was like a
I
24-hour cold for me. But like I said, by the time I
I'm
got
weird.
it,
I never got it.
like I
You
said,
may have. You may
like I
have
said,
been
but-
asymptomatic.
like I said, by the time
Yeah.
that I
the
got
second
it,
time I had no symptoms. It
Mother
was weird.
Nature had stepped in and said, whoa, pump the brakes there, buddy. We need to get you back in equilibrium with everything else. So for me, it was literally a 24-hour cold.
Yeah.
And the bad part too is like there was a time too where I decided I was going to make my own beer.
Well,
And
that's
un-
also
and
when.
unfortunately
I was recovering from surgery, so I was not. I was
Well,
having
that wasn't even like recovering from surgery. That's when you like
You didn't-
like
you
didn't
disappeared.
have it.
Yeah, you
and I
disappeared
made
for
my
a
own
tiny
beer.
bit.
And
Yeah,
I
that's
brought it on the show and we drank it and everything.
Oh,
and like,
it was amazing. It was supposed to be about 6%. It ended up being about 16%.
because Squirrely Dan forgot that when you add citrus and fruits to your beer, you're adding a
Extra
whole
sugar.
bunch of extra
and
sugars
honey.
and honey.
And honey.
So,
You like
So-
sugar.
Yes.
It was supposed to be
yeah, so I
5
had
to
a-
6%. It ended up being about 16%. But
I-
god damn, it was tasty.
Yes,
I-
it
I-
was.
Oh, it
I-
was
I-
and
tasty.
yeah, and
I
I
rented this
missed out
house.
on it because I had medical things going on and I just couldn't. So
Yeah.
I rented this house for like almost 10 years and it had like an orange tree in the front
It
yard.
was a navel.
Yeah, it was a
right?
navel orange tree that in the front yard. And one year, I think it was like Christmas
It's a
or
little bit
something,
bitter.
Yeah.
or my birthday. My wife was
But
like,
I like it.
"You like
Not
beer? I'm
bad.
gonna buy you
I mean,
this."
it's
And she
crisp.
bought me a beer brewing
Not
kit.
heavy.
It
And,
was
like,
it was the last part of
beer.
2020.
It's
yeah, and
It was right before 2021 because that's when
I
that's
already
when it
really
happened.
liked like fruity, like tasting, like kind of beers with like citrusy stuff. So
Right.
I was like, you know what? I'm gonna do that, but I'm gonna tweak the recipe because that's the thing too. Is I'm big on cooking, so like
It was supposed to be a brownish ale.
It
with
was
citrus
supposed
and
to
honey.
be. Yeah,
Okay.
it was
And,
supposed to be.
And we're like, let's do it. And
Oh,
he
yeah.
he was babying to see, like he
No, I
like,
did.
we have
Like-
videos on our thing of like him checking on the yeast,
No, like I
all
said,
this
like
stuff.
I'm big on cooking. I always have been. So like I treated it like that, and I was like, you know, I don't have to follow the recipe. I can
Just gotta
change
wing it.
things. And then like I had the orange tree. I'm like, I'm gonna use my oranges then, and it was delicious, but it was strong, and it was sneakily strong. That was the bad part.
You
like,
couldn't taste it.
I like
No.
to-
Wait,
You're
I
sitting
like
there
to call-
drinking it. You're
I
like,
to
wow,
call
this
it
is really
wine
good.
drunk.
Yeah.
Because you're drinking, you're like, this is great.
No,
and
it-
then it's like Kill Bill, and you
it
take
was
3
like,
steps.
whoa.
And,
It was worse than wine drunk. It was mead drunk. It was almost at the level of mead because we did a full pint glass of it and we're like, wow, that is great. And we had half of a pint glass afterwards,
And we're
and
like-
all of us were like,
whoa.
right,
Yeah.
wait a minute.
whoa, hold
We're
on,
like white chick
hold on,
wasted.
who's driving?
No, but that was no. The problem was we all got hold on. It was like, let's try this again. Hold on, here,
Oh,
hold on.
it was so
Wait.
good. And it wasn't.
was.
It wasn't filling. It wasn't heavy.
That
It was
delicious.
light. It
I
was
need to do it
crisp.
again. I need to
It
do
was.
it
It
again.
sounds
was,
like an enjoyable, abusive relationship.
Well, it was one
Yes.
of those the way it finished, the way it drank, and that you expected it to be a like 5.5% brown ale, but it was like a 16% brown mead.
it was giving you a hug but stealing your wallet.
Yes.
at the
You
same
know,
time.
you know what's
Yes.
bad? You know what's
Oh,
bad
yeah.
too?
Oh yeah, their pockets were fully picked after that.
Yeah. No, you know what's bad?
However, there was
You
a-
watched the episode halfway through and you can't hear what we're saying.
No. So,
there was another time where I was actually in the ER in Gainesville while they were going on, and so I anytime I have to go up to the hospital, I
Was
know
that the Shinerbach one?
yes,
Yeah.
I know I'm.
you were allergic to that shit.
And there was another one too. No, I was there for. I think I was there for Shinerbach. There was another one. It was an awful beer. So while I'm sitting in the ER,
Oh, was it the organic, the gold?
no, I was there for that one. I
No,
was,
he was there.
I was there for that one. It was in your
It was at
garage.
Chris's house.
Uh-huh.
Well, that
I-
one was at Chris's garage too.
Yeah, so I had to go up to Gainesville to ER stuff. And so while I'm sitting there, I text the guys. I'm like, hey, I'm in the ER. It's nothing serious, but I have to take care of this. I can't
Right.
make it tonight.
I was
so
gonna say
whatever.
we thought he was on his way, and we're like, yeah, okay, so.
So I'm like, you guys do your thing. So when they go on, I'm still up there. So I had my iPad with me. So I'm like, I'll see what the guys are doing. So I flick it up there and bring it up on there. And I see them. I don't even remember what beer it was.
I don't
see
even
them take.
remember.
I see them take a drink of this beer, and I watch just the pain. I see the looks on their face, like, "Oh God, that was a mistake."
I think that was
what
the
was I
first time
thinking?
to hibiscus.
I was
I
gonna-
think that
I
was
was
the
gonna
first
say, that was the
hibiscus.
hibiscus. That
That was
was
the
the
first
hibiscus.
time because you brought it the first time. You brought it the second time.
I only remember having. I remember having the hibiscus
Oh,
beer.
no, it
So
was.
I had the
it was
hibiscus.
bad.
No,
was
no.
bad.
I was there for hibiscus, the first time because I remember
Where-
when
okay,
he
so
brought it in, I'm
what
like,
one was it?
I don't remember what one it was either, but all I remember was I'm
It
sitting
was-
there watching it,
And I remember
And
you
I
being
s-
like,
I
"Oh my
see them
god,
all
I'm so
drink.
happy I'm not there."
and I see the look on their faces. I'm like, wow, I'm actually happy to be in the ER and not with you guys right now.
No,
I remember
And I
that
just
comment.
and I think Mike just looked at the camera and goes, "Fuck you, Brian."
Yeah, I did.
No,
I did.
it was the second time for the hibiscus because my
Yeah,
brother-in-law.
Florida Avenue's hibiscus. What is it?
Something.
ales.
Yeah.
Hibiscus ale.
So it's a glass
Of perfume.
just pure perfume.
Yeah.
So
No,
you're
it's
walking.
Take a bottle of perfume, pour it into a glass, take a big swig
So
of it.
remember
That's the
when?
flavor.
Remember as being a kid, you're walking through Dillard's,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
you walk
The-
past the
the
perfume,
perfume.
and they're just spraying it,
Flourished with it?
and that
No.
taste that gets in your mouth.
It's like a gauntlet.
Well, no,
That's what that beer tastes
It
like.
was-
It
yeah,
hit your
yeah,
mouth,
it's
and you're like,
horrible.
"Oh, it's beer,"
Yeah.
and you're like, "Oh God,
It's Dillard's perfume aisle. It was horrible.
I just looked at my grandma. What the
my
fuck's going on?" Like, no,
That's my grandma.
no. Like that's what it was like. It was
Never
like,
If that was a
Grandma.
warning label, I would no.
Yes.
Like,
it was terrible.
It was definitely the second time though because they like redesigned the can.
They did.
Yeah, they did.
And he's like, "Oh, it's great." And I'm like,
No, it's like my brother-in-law, like he knows I like beer and everything, and he got it for me as like a present or something, and that was when you were gone, and we had it, and it was
was
Yeah,
the
like I said-
word hibiscus anywhere on the can?
yeah,
print.
oh yeah,
It's small print.
Oh yeah,
Small- no,
oh
small,
yeah,
but-
It's small print.
What-
It's
when you
it's
look at
like
the can,
something,
it-
and then it says with blah 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 hibiscus.
So
blah,
when
blah,
you
like
look-
but like, bro, if you're tossing a pedal in there, that's one thing. But this was like you soaked all the flowers and pressed them down, like
So
like
the
coffee.
can
kind of,
itself
like,
has
Filtered
like,
it through a bed of
yeah.
flower
it was
petals.
pink.
but
too.
the artwork on the
Oh, it was
can is
so
wonderful
bad.
and that,
It
but
was.
it's like
It was a beautiful can.
it's like downtown like street setting and all that.
So she was
But-
good for the night.
But
we
it's
woke
one
up
of those
Exactly.
Okay.
the words
Let's
like
put it this
blend
way.
in with it.
It was a Florida Avenue beer. In my list, I didn't even put the full name of it. My list,
bad it was.
my list literally says, because that's what I was going to look up. What was the name of it? It literally says Florida Avenue hibiscus shit.
Yeah.
That's what I put it in the list
There
as.
you
Yeah. Yeah.
No.
Gentlemen,
We don't have a bringer trailer.
no,
Yeah, we don't
I
have-
know.
we don't have
I
an option
know,
car.
I know we don't.
I did have a couple
know.
car spots though. Today, actually, while I was bound in Ocala, one is particular interest of you, and I wish I could have gotten a picture of it, but I couldn't have. It was a super clean,
You're pointing
short,
at me.
short box,
Yeah.
square
tell me.
body.
Yeah.
Mhm.
It was on a trailer, but it was like a light, like an eggshell color.
Oh! Yes.
Chrome, like it had some.
That was today, right?
yeah, it was. I was
Where-
on.
where
I, was,
did you see
I
it?
saw it on 200
I
this
missed
side
my
of the
truck.
interstate.
I miss my truck so much.
I saw it on a trailer this side
What
of the interstate.
time was that?
A little after lunch.
And so coming towards
Come
us.
this way. Yeah.
What you see
So-
too?
Was it before 2:00?
Oh yeah.
Okay, so about 1 something, I was taking trash out to the dumpster. It was going down 490. Not
That checks
46.
because I was up there and I saw it about 12:30.
Yeah.
I saw that. I saw while I was waiting.
I should have kept that.
While I was
truck.
waiting
We're
by
getting really
the
hard
where
to find
like
that.
where Cheddar's and the Cadillac dealership and all this before you get to the interstate,
Yeah.
sent at that light and I saw a guy in a '57 Chevy Bel Air, not a Nomad, 2-door wagon, roll by, and then while I was coming out of the second beer store, which there was nothing, I saw a guy in a white second gen Lightning with an exhaust on it, just absolutely hammer it out there on 301.
Did I send the picture of the Bel Air to the group chat?
No.
No,
No, really?
No.
you did not.
Oh.
But I've
Dang.
just
Oh, no,
this week I've seen a blue Marauder, a black Marauder that was the original owner. Got to talk to him about it. The red Marauder
What?
again with the non-tinted windows. That's the same old guy
Is
that.
this a sign to buy a Crown Vic for you?
No, fuck that.
No,
No, buy a Marauder.
The only one he's missing is the silver one.
Have not seen the silver one, but so that was from Monday to Wednesday. It was every day I saw like the different ones. Today I saw a first gen all-wheel drive Pacifica when they were still the SUVs, like the first gen SUVs,
All-wheel
really
drive, too?
in really good shape,
Really?
which shocked me. And then I also saw a North Star powered V8 Bonneville, the SSE, like the bubble body one.
There was a cammed one running around here for a while.
You know,
Well, not the Bonneville. The
No, it was a Bonneville. It was a Bonneville North Star front wheel drive silver one.
I was gonna say because
And
there
it
was a
was
lot
cammed.
of the V8.
Impala SS.
No, the Grand Prix.
Oh, the Grand Prix.
The Grand Prix and the Involvement SS.
Before they went to the G8, yeah.
Yeah, so those had the LS4s
They had the LS4
in them.
Same as Impala.
But the Bonnevilles had North
No, they
Stars
did,
because
yeah,
they were
yeah.
the first ones with it.
yeah,
so it was
the Bonneville, the Cadillacs, and the Oldsmobile Aurora.
Yeah, had the Bonneville.
And then the
had the North Stars in
Regal, the Regal GS had the supercharged 3800.
Yeah.
It did.
them. But so I saw one of those, and then oh shit, what was it?
You know?
Oh, a really, really, really clean PT Cruiser convertible
So the
GT turbo stick.
Nice.
Old lady driving it.
That's an
Blue.
odd combination.
Blue, all blue.
I have no
Just-
idea if you guys have talked about this. Have you heard the rumor supposedly they're bringing the PT Cruiser back?
I'd be okay with
Okay.
Well, okay, so the only thing
I'd be
I
okay
don't-
with it.
hold
I
on,
don't
hold on,
believe
hold on, hold on.
anything until I actually see
Time
one.
out. I want to buy a Chrysler. What am I going to buy? A Chrysler Pacifica.
Or-
what else do I have? Well,
The Chrysler Pacifica Hybrid!
that's it. It's
all
literally
Chrysler's
you
got.
go to a Chrysler, like the Chrysler part of the thing. It's like, well, I want a Chrysler. Well, we
There
got
you
the
go.
Chrysler Pacifica, or like the people down the road, they got the Pacifica Hybrid. That was literally a joke that we had that in October I was drunk out in front of the hotel and there was a Chrysler Pacifica and a Chrysler Pacifica Hybrid behind
You
it.
went full
And I-
Dacia Sandero.
I sent the picture. I'm like, I fucking found them both. It's literally all Chrysler has to offer.
You went full Dacia Sandero.
Their
right there.
entire model lineup is right,
Right here.
in front of me.
This is it.
It's a Dacia Sandero!
I actually have not heard the PT Cruiser rumor, but I know there is a channel on YouTube that uses AI drawings and shit.
Oh.
Check out the 2025 Chevrolet
Yeah.
Chevelle.
I hate
Check
that.
out
Yeah.
those things are just
They've been doing
annoying.
that since
Yeah.
2010. The
Yeah.
amount of
No,
times that a
but-
Chevelle has happened, or
But most of those, somebody actually rendered them, or somebody
No,
took.
yeah.
It was kind of like the S550 Mustang when it was rumored to come out, and everybody was thinking it was going to look like an Aston Martin, and someone took a. They had remember the car, the red thing with the Mustang
Yep.
emblems parked in front of a bridge.
yep.
I went internet hunting because I'm used to finding shit on old forum posts.
Forum post.
Well, porn too.
Old porn.
Found chicken wow wow.
No!
So I went hunting and I actually found the original image that
right.
was photoshopped from, and it was of an Aston Martin.
Well, they had to actually Photoshop it.
Yeah,
I-
but like I said, back in the day, like I said, those were actually hand renders or digital renders that someone actually did.
Right.
And now they're just using AI to just
I'm
throw
gonna
out whatever
forward
crap
to
they
that.
can.
Yep.
So much
I would
now.
be super skeptical
Alright, Ted.
about anything new coming out of anything Stellantis right now because they are in such financial dire straits.
And
Oh,
their
yeah.
erection is
There's no
lasting
way
more
they
than
can
4
release
hours.
any new.
Oh,
they
yeah.
can't release any new models right now. They can't afford to keep their
Well,
business.
they're not
they
even
can't.
in hard erection mode. They're in limbic mode. Like they're not even
Yeah,
lasting 4
nobody
hours.
needs to ask their doctor about Stellantis
No,
right now.
Stellantis is into downward.
Speaking of car spots, by the way, I need expertise on this spot I had. Were 0203 Cobras available in Mistachrome?
So only
Yeah.
oh no, blah, 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 blah.
96.
96 and 04.
So it must have been
Yeah,
04.
So,
Yeah.
so,
Yeah,
okay.
so,
Edge.
but,
New
but
Edge, right?
no.
Yeah, that was a new edge.
Listen. 96 was Mystic. 04 was Mystic Chrome.
Okay, so this must
There's
have been
a
an 04.
slight different color difference
It
into it.
was
So
at work.
Did-
Did you see it?
No.
I think it was Saturday. I don't remember for sure.
Did it have the bumpy spoiler?
I couldn't see it. It was pulling out of the, and I was standing at the back of the shop. All I saw
Hardtop
was
though, right?
no convertible, Mistachrome convertible.
Did you
Cobra?
happen,
Did
did
you
you happen to see the
inside?
seats?
I couldn't. It was way far away.
I was
because
because
one of
some
those
of-
they'll have. They'll
But I
have
went.
the
I literally
Really?
stopped. And
Because some
went,
of the-
holy shit! It's a Mistachrome Cobra.
I didn't know they.
Okay,
Yeah.
so
Ford nerds.
okay,
Yes.
so that
They
was
did a
that
convertible?
was yes, so that was 03,
Really?
which means it was a Terminator.
Was it 03 or 04? I thought it was
Ooh.
04.
Either one, it was a Terminator.
Dude, I remember.
Well, no,
That's
I thought
what
it
I
was
thought.
04.
Might have
I
been
thought it was
04. Might have been the swan song for the car.
No, it was no, because that was it was 04.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
definitely.
But if you got the Mystic
Really,
Chrome,
though?
you got
Was
the
Mr.
so you
I know
had
the
you had the
inserts.
you had the
Yeah.
leather seats, and all the other cars had the gray
Alcantara.
Yeah,
and that,
the
but it
door
was
card inserts.
Mr. Chrome, like it was
Yeah,
Mr.
no,
The
that
Chrome.
cen-
with
yeah, the
that.
center inserts of the
That's
seat
cool.
was Mr. Chrome printed leather.
So those the new Edge body styles were Mr. Chrome. They had a little bit more green added to it. The 96 was Mystic. It was more of a purplish blue. There
Yeah.
wasn't as much of the
Yeah.
teal greenish color added to it.
Yeah.
Also, if you want to paint your car that color, you need a
I don't know if you have to do that in now.
You still do.
Okay.
You still do. You,
You
gotta
just get some chameleon.
no.
Dip your car.
You need
like,
to
paint
vin-
job.
There's
you need to
colors.
vin-
There's colors that are close.
Yeah,
But to
I
get
know,
the
I know,
actual
I know.
one, you need to VIN verify. Like, if you get into an accident and all that, you're not just painting that panel, you're painting the entire car. You gotta VIN verify that your car is a Mystic or Mystic Chrome color that goes to Ford. Ford gets it out of their vault. They calculate how much it's gonna take to paint your car. That gets sent to the paint shop. Just that much. You're paying an arm and a leg for that. Like you're paying, but if you're gonna paint the full car, especially if it's Mystic Chrome, you're looking at about $10,000 to $15,000
Yeah,
from Ford.
because all of the chrome's
And-
coming
but-
off, all
but
the lights are coming out, all
They-
the trim's
they are-
coming off,
no,
all
they
the
are-
glass is
but they
coming
are
out.
giving
Well-
you literally just that, like 2 gallons. Like
Yeah,
they are
yeah,
giving you
yeah, yeah.
just that amount.
Yeah.
If your sprayer messes up, you're screwed.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
That's your fault. This is what paints the car.
And on that complicated bombshell,
Tell them the reason.
Wait a minute. Okay.
Tell them the reason why. though.
The reason why, well, it's because of lawsuits and all that other
Yeah,
stuff.
no,
but
yeah,
also,
no. That's crazy,
no,
though, isn't
Chris,
it?
what else is it?
So the reason for that is because that is the pigment that's used to make U.S. currency.
Yep.
So it is highly regulated.
Yeah.
fair
So
enough.
all those wonderful colors that you see in the cotton that's in your in
And
your
also on
bills,
the on the printer of your the color changing.
Exactly.
Yep.
is
that's
that.
and
But
on
you-
that,
Actually,
Before-
no.
Before we end,
no, I
before we
love it.
end,
I love it.
We
What
have-
I'm doing it.
what is the rarest color that Ford has?
Oh, that was that lava red.
Yep.
Because
of the fucking tsunami that happened. No, seriously,
so the thing, no,
Fucking geological disaster.
S550 or the 2018 magma volcanic or whatever.
No, that
No.
was after.
No,
It
this
was the
was-
2010, 2011. Didn't even make it to 2012 because early 2011 was when the tsunami happened in Japan. That's where they got the pigments in Japan to make the lava red, where it was all black,
Fukushima.
to where when the
Glowed.
sun hit it, it hit red.
Only under the black light.
You could only get
It's
it
like the
from
uranium
like that
glass?
pigment
Yeah,
from the dirt
Exactly.
in Japan.
My grandma collects that.
Yeah.
I was just talking about it the other day.
but we do have one more question for you because you are a longtime or were
Oh, yeah.
are a longtime Jeep owner. You've been in the
Yes.
Jeep scene for a while.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I forgot about this one. Thank you for reminding me about that. Again.
Oh,
This
boy.
was his idea, but
It was,
I
it
found it
was.
so amusing I could not let
That's
this
fine.
pass.
This will be a good bombshell.
What the hell do you?
Hold on.
Oh, never mind.
We do know that the Jeeple can get a little special.
Yeah, they are.
Oh yeah.
What's your thoughts on the Ducks?
It's fun. It's one of those things that I mean, I think Subaru people did like something similar to it prior to it getting popular with Jeep people.
Bronco people do.
See,
Well, because Bronco people wish they were Jeep people.
They do plastic horseshoes.
It's called bucking. I've heard of it.
Yeah. Yeah,
But
I've never heard of Subaru people doing
Yeah,
this.
so
Like,
Subaru-
never
Yeah,
in
no,
my
they do.
entire life.
Subaru people did
Yeah, we've heard.
some Mini Cooper
There's
people.
other stereotypes about Subarus, but sticking
Well,
little
yeah,
fuzzy.
softball
But
golf,
the
yeah.
duck thing is like it was genuinely exciting though. Like when you walked out in the parking lot, you were like, "There's somebody fucking ducking me, bro!"
So
like
the original, the backstory
yeah.
of it was really, it came out from like a very, very good place. I think there was a
It was a
lady-
cancer patient.
Yeah,
I
it was a
think.
cancer
Yeah.
patient and everything
Oh.
else, and it kind of
Yeah.
So that's cool.
it was an homage to her and everything else.
And it
so,
grew from there. That's
I know,
actually
but
really
that-
cool.
but
then.
But Jeep owners, especially recently, so when the JK came out after the TJ, so TJ prior, your old school Jeepers,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
And
JK's
even to
kinda-
this day, there's like,
Is this what it's
driving
like when we're talking about
minivans,
Mustangs?
bullshit,
And we
Kinda.
talk about
blah,
the
blah,
chassis
blah.
So
numbers?
No.
is this actually a bigger divide than the square headlight versus round headlight crowd?
Or
No,
or,
okay.
or
No,
the
no,
the seven.
listen.
Hold on, the 7 slot versus a 9.
I'm
They're
on the
all
same,
seven
listen,
slot.
I'm on the same level.
The 9
like,
slot. So originally, way back when,
Or 9 slots, right?
There
The
were
military
some,
ones,
but
right?
some.
Right? Hey, look at me! I know
Hey,
something.
but we know the reason for the 7 slots, right?
Exactly.
Oh, I don't.
So
know.
the 7
don't.
slots represent the 7 continents. The Jeep was the
Yeah.
first vehicle to drive on all 7 continents.
Correct.
True. And
So
then
they can
Ford
look at
made
the
it.
Brits and go, "Suck on that, beans and
Right.
toast."
So and then same thing with the Jeep Wave.
Why do I know
is the
this
2
much about
fingers.
Jeeps?
So the Jeep Wave is actually the V from Victory Day in World War II.
Correct.
And because you had, they were in the parade.
Correct. And they were
Winston
utilized
Churchill
in the
utilized the V for Victory.
Yes. Yes.
And so it just transferred over to Jeep owners. So that's
Have you
why
told
the
that to
2 fingers.
Jeep?
Why do I know this much and you guys don't?
Huh,
And I don't
well,
have a
well,
Jeep.
The funny thing about the ducking is, I have a friend of mine who's not a car guy,
Right.
and
Oh,
he ended
Paul.
up getting a Gladiator. He, like, Rose wanted some type of small truck to do utility stuff with, but he always kind of just wanted a Jeep because everybody kind of likes just
Right.
old school Jeeps. So he ended up getting a Gladiator, and it was kind of the blend for him. And he doesn't like hardcore off road, but he takes it out in the woods. They go camping with it. They really do use it.
Sure.
But again, he's not a car guy.
Okay.
So I'm talking to him, and he tells me that he got this Jeep, and he sends me a couple pictures. I'm like, hey, that's pretty cool, man. It's a Mojave, and it's nicely optioned, and I've ridden in it, and it drives nice for what they are. And I'm like, all right, it's pretty cool, well done, dude.
Yep.
It's a
And then-
very nice vehicle.
And then so again, he was talking about, and I was like, just don't do the stupid angry eyes things. He was like, oh no, I'm not going to do that. I was like,
Most
thank you.
people hate that.
I was like, thank you.
My
So,
stepdad
but-
has that on his.
And so he was talking about stuff. He's like, I might do this, I might do that. I'm like, hey, Paul, you're starting to sound a little bit like a car guy. He's like, no. And I'm like, oh, by the way, have you been ducked yet? And he's like, what's that? You'll see.
Yeah.
And eventually he did.
Yeah. So when we moved to our house here at Crystal River, we've got a pretty long driveway, and it was like the first month we lived here, and I walked out the next morning, and there was a duck on my Gladiator, and I'm like, there was effort. It wasn't just like,
Right?
oh, you were
I was gonna say
parked
that
next
there
to
was
me.
effort. They went up
you,
there.
Yeah, you walked up like a couple hundred feet. To
So
get
I have found out because of videos. Apparently, people get mad if you actually put a duck on their thing. So if you put a dead duck on their handle, they get mad at that. And it's like, well, you got ducked, and he's like, oh my
Okay.
god, like. I'm
So
like,
I was
Got a calf in there.
Right,
so I was talking to my buddy. He was like, by the way, he's like, I got a couple of those ducks. I'm like, what did you do with them? Are they still on your dash? He's like, no, I put them on other people's Jeeps. And I was like,
You're a
And so like
ducker.
and we did that. So like when we would have like, because really like there's some really kind of cool ones that have come out since this whole thing started. Like
Oh, yeah.
in St. Augustine, there's a store on that historic district area.
Yeah.
And the only thing they fucking sell
Is
ducks.
ducks.
I've been there. It's a bar too.
Yes. and like when Jeep people found out about this,
They're like, oh shit!
you know why? Monopoly.
Monopoly?
Yeah, no, it's the only way to, like, they're making money off of, like, fuck yeah, Jeep people
Oh,
are
yeah,
gonna come
I
here.
don't
Yeah,
blame
it's
them.
a
I mean,
monopoly
like-
on it.
like-
Like, fuck yeah.
Hardcore capitalists. You don't have
Yeah.
to argue. Like, if you can make a buck, make a buck. I don't care.
Absolutely.
So like, but I mean, and then like if you go, there's a huge event in Daytona called Jeep Beach.
Yeah,
And my buddy
yeah.
actually did go to that.
It's like Bike Week. I mean,
Yeah.
there are thousands
There's
of Jeeps.
And it's just like Bike Week, they're assholes.
So yeah. So anyway. So my
You'll
non-
see in
so
traffic though. You'll see.
so
trucks
my
flying.
non-car guy,
Yeah.
not quite a Jeeple buddy with
Right.
his his Gladiator. He actually went to that, and he's like, he's like, I'm not really a car guy. He's like, but I understand why you are a car guy. And I'm like, what do you mean? He's like, because we rolled up in the Jeep, and he's like, and everyone that we talked to, that we were parked next to, and we were just hanging out with the whole day, everybody we talked to was like super nice.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, there you go.
It really is. It's one of those communities where it's like, and I imagine it's probably even similar in a lot of other automotive niches. But like with Jeeps, like you literally buy a Jeep and you buy friends with it.
Right.
Like friends come with the purchase, and it doesn't like. I mean, there really has never been a Jeep person that like if I've seen somebody in trouble, like we've pulled people out of ditches, like all types of like. I had no clue who they are, but it was a Jeep in trouble.
That's the
and
community we like.
immediately pulled over and we're like, hey, you need help.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, just like basically just having Mustangs.
Yeah,
There we
that's
are.
how Mustangs are because I bought a Mustang and I gained a bunch of friends.
Yeah.
Again, Dad.
Kinda.
And on that
here's my
bombshell.
dipshit suit I
Yep.
brought
Yeah.
in. Hold on, the last thing.
What?
Where can we find you at?
License and registration show. You can find us on YouTube, LNR Show, Instagram, LNR Show, and then obviously LNRshow.com.
Cool.
And before we end, the Jeep thing, like I got that, and it burns when I pee now.
Thank you for coming on. We really appreciate it.
Yes,
We're
absolutely.
glad
Had a
you're
great
here.
time,
Yes, absolutely.
guys. Yeah,
Sláinte?
no,
Yeah.
appreciate
Thank
you
you
guys
everyone
so
for
much.
watching. We'll be back in 2 weeks. Y'all have a good night. Enjoy your weekend.